We've been working on adding integers, and when they have the same sign, we add them up and keep the same sign. When they had different signs, we subtracted them, and then we kept the sign from the larger absolute value. And today it says that to subtract sign numbers, add the opposite. What we're really doing here is we're taking subtraction problems and we're changing them back to addition problems. If I look at the first one, it says to subtract sign numbers, add the opposite. My first number is -5, and then I'm changing this subtraction sign right here. I'm changing subtraction to addition. It says to subtract same signs, add the opposite. What's the opposite of -4? 4. So we're adding the opposite. Now we're back to adding. Do I have the same sign or different signs? We have different signs. What's it say to do when we have different signs? What's the first word for different signs? Subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then is it going to be a positive 1 or a negative 1? Take the sign from the larger absolute value. The larger absolute value would be 5, and that would be negative. All right, on the next one, we're changing this subtraction problem. So it's -1. I'm changing subtraction to addition. And what's the opposite of -35? Positive 35. So you're changing subtraction to addition and using the opposite. Now, do I have same signs or different signs? Christian, do we have same signs or different signs? What do we do if it's different signs? Subtract, and is it going to be a positive 34 or a negative 34? Positive, take the sign from the larger number. Try the next example, 10 minus -8. Keep the first number. Change the subtraction sign to an addition sign, and then use the opposite of -8, which would be positive 8. And it's 10 plus 8 is 18. Try the last one. -20 plus, well, what's the opposite of 19? -19. Do I have the same sign or different signs, Keegan? What do we do if it's the same sign? Add them up and keep the sign. Very good. All right. So there is that. Let's go to Google Classroom and let's look at what's in there this week. In Google Classroom, we have October 5th through 9th. Monday, it says in class, go over the rules for subtracting integers. Use the integer foldable in your interactive notebook. Practice the odd problems. So what we're going to do is you click on the second post, subtracting integers, and we can open the PDF with Cami. Let's do that. And open with Cami. I am going to give you 5 minutes to do as many odd problems as you can. It doesn't matter to me if you change them like we did in the notebook, or if you can do integers, however you do them. Do the odd problems right now. 5 minutes to do as many odds as you can. 1, 3, 5, 7. 5 minutes. All right. Let's look under Monday. So we just did one in class about subtracting integers. Now what we're going to do is talk about the project that we have. So I would like for you to click on this game board right here. Click on this game board. The theme of the game board is Stand and Deliver. Has anybody ever seen this movie before? This is an awesome movie from 1988 about a teacher in Los Angeles who went into the inner city and how he really got through to these kids. There is a, not right now, but there's a short video, a clip, a 2-minute clip here. And I just love this movie so much. It's absolutely wonderful to see not giving up in life when life can be tough. So you watch the 2-minute video, and then don't do it now, but when you click on the question mark is a quiz on integers. You can use your notebook for the quiz. Okay, it has, it's a Google form. It has some multiple choice questions on there. It has some questions that you just have to answer yourself. So that would be a quiz that's on integers. But here's the project that I want to talk about. You can click on this, I Spy. I use I Spy in all of my math classes for every single topic because I spy math. I see math in the real world where we're working. This right here just talks, this girl from UCubed, she's just talking about different ways that you can see things and just kind of giving some ideas. So that's what that first one is. It's just about the game itself. Now, what topic are we on right now? We're on what? What are we working on? Integers. So I Spy integers is what we are doing for ours. Now you can click on this next one. It says Desmos I Spy directions. So click on that one. And here's the directions for I Spy. We're using the Desmos calculator. We're going to be using that all year long. The first thing that it says to do is to take a picture of an integer. Right now, I want you to take a picture of an integer. Look around the room anywhere and anything that you have. Use your laptop if you don't have a phone and take a picture right now of an integer anywhere. This will count as your first part of your project. This will be picture number 1. Send it to yourself in an email or whatever you do to get it in your drive, in your Google Drive, so that you can bring it up on your Chromebook. All right, here we go. Everybody's got a picture. This will be the first picture of 4 pictures. Click on Desmos Calculator. Sign in with your Gmail account. We're going to be using Desmos Calculator. This is calculator, not activity. Desmos activity is different than Desmos Calculator. Oh, yes. Give me a thumbs up if you're in Desmos and you're signed in. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to label this graph. Let's label this integers. Integers and save. If you click on the 3 lines on the left, you're going to see that you have blank graphs in here. And these are where your projects are all going to be stored. So there's 3 lines on the left to open and to close. Just click on it to open it. There's a blank graph in there, and then click on it again to close it. All right, that's where all the materials are stored. The other important area would be the wrench, the settings. Go over to the wrench in the right-hand corner. And let's take the x-axis and let's label it as the x-axis. Let's put X in the box. And you can see an X popped up over here where 10 is. That's the x-axis. And I would like my graphs to go by step of 1. Step 1. I want it to go by ones. And then I'm going to go to the y-axis. And I'm going to put y in there. I want to label my y-axis as the y-axis. And I would also like my y-axis to go by steps of 1. Give me a thumbs up if your axes are labeled and step 1. Very good. Thank you. Very good. The last thing I'd like to do before we move out of settings is the minor grid lines. It's too much. Sometimes if I'm using decimals or something, I wouldn't mind having all of these grid lines. I'm going to unclick minor grid lines. All I want is integers, whole numbers. And then click off to the side, and you should have a graph that looks like this, going by ones. My X and my Y-axis have been labeled. The next thing we're going to do is, if you look on the left, these boxes, I can have as many boxes as I want. I just keep clicking, and it will bring up as many boxes as I need. Okay, I'm going to be in the first box. We're going to click the plus sign, and we're going to create a folder. Folder. I'm going to label this folder as integer 1. Integer 1. To get 100 on this project, you need 4 integers. This is your first one. Maybe you'll take a picture that actually has 3 other integers in it so that you don't have to have all separate photos. All right, I'm going to go down to the next number 2, the next line. And I'm going to click on that plus sign again. Let's look and see what's under here. This is where all your resources are for Desmos. I can write a mathematical expression. I can write a note like I with the folder. I don't do this, but I can make a table of values when X is 2, Y is 3, and it will start plotting points for me. I can just X out on the right, and that'll close that. What else do we have under the plus sign? We have a folder that we've created. Here's the image. We want to upload an image. Yours is going to look different than mine when I click on it. I'm uploading from my desktop. Yours, you're looking for your drive. Click on image, and then what comes down for you should be about the drive. If your number line got all messed up because of your image, let's say that it messed up your number line and you're not going by ones anymore. First thing you're going to do is just arrange your picture. How big do you want your picture to be? All right, so I have my picture. I have blue circles on them. When I click on it, I can use this to scale in and out. If I click down and drag, it drags my picture around. I can get it centered how I want it. So I could just click on it and drag and put it wherever I want it to be. If your number line's messed up, go back into settings. Now, who has the integer of 44? You're going to go into settings. You need a number line that has a 44 on it. So go into settings, and let's say your x-axis is going from -50 to +50. So on my x, we'll go from -50 to 50. And then let's not go by steps of 1 because you have a big number. Let's go by steps of 5. All right, here we go. Everybody's got their picture up. All right, now this is what you would have to do to complete this. All right, so I have my picture. The last thing I need to do now, I highlighted the number 5 on my scan because I wanted to use the integer number 5. I need to graph that integer. So it's to get an integer picture and then to graph the integer itself. So go to the next line. You have to do an open parenthesis. Open parenthesis because we're writing a point. My point is at 5, so I'm going to put x is 5, comma 0. And I see that point came up right here. So you need to pick a number that's in your picture, and you're going to graph that point. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is look at the color scheme now. I did blue. You can pick whatever you want, but I chose blue here, but I have purple here. I can change the color of this. If I come over here on the dot, if I click on it, it shuts it off, right? I can click it off. I have it on now. Now, if I hold it down, that's when your colors come up. So change that to whatever color you want it to be. And then we only have one other thing to do, is to label it. If I click label, I don't have to label the point. Notice how the 0.50 came up. I don't care about the point. I just wanted an integer on my number line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type something over here. Instead of having it be the point, I can type anything that I want there. Like if I type the word integer, I-N-T-E-G-E-R, and look, the word integer comes up. 5 is the integer that I have chosen for this project. Now we're not done yet. One more thing about design. Give me a thumbs up when you have your point and a word there. And it doesn't have to be integer. You can label it whatever you want. Everybody's good to go? All right, the last thing for design would actually be click on the wrench. Click on the wrench. I want to make it large so that word really stands out. And I don't really like it on the side of it. Maybe I'd like to see it above it. Maybe I'd like to see it below it. Whatever works best for your picture. Maybe you want it on the side. And then after I click off, there's the first integer from a picture. We're practicing uploading pictures to Desmos. We're practicing math. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is just an integer. Now, the last thing that I can do here is that I want to move these two into my folder. It's not actually in the folder yet. Now watch, when I drag it, you're going to see a line that comes up right below here. If I crosshairs, there's the crosshairs. If I click on it and I drag it, those lines appear. I'm just dragging it up near it. And now that line is there. I would like to put the image and the point both in that folder. So I'm going to click on the point as well on the left and drag it over till I see the line. And that tells me that it's in the folder. I can test that theory by actually closing the folder at the top. And did everything go inside of it? That means it's in the folder. When you click it, there's integer 1. And I can actually shut off the picture by clicking on the folder, and it shuts the picture off as well. And now I can start my second picture. So let's make a new folder. Come down below, and let's go to the plus sign and click a second folder, and we'll call this integer 2. Maybe for you, it's going to be integer 3 through 4. How many integers can you get in one picture? That's up to you. But for now, I'll call it integer 2. And then I would start by uploading my second picture. Hopefully you can find a picture that has more than one integer in it. Let's look at the board game here. So we have a short video clip to watch. We have integer quiz to take. And then we have this I Spy project. That is the rest of the ones that are down here. Here's the directions to I Spy. And here is where you would actually pass it in. This is a link to Google Classroom. It brings you right to Google Classroom where you're going to upload this assignment to. But let's look back on the directions. The directions, sign in with your school account, upload a picture, find an integer, label the integer, star, make sure you save regularly. If I go back to Desmos, look at the top left here, save. If you close this tab, you'll lose everything. It's not like Google that automatically saves for you. And I have seen students lose projects before. Hit the save button. Make sure you save every time you do something to it. Now, if I go back to the I Spy directions, so save. Here's the rubric at the bottom for this project. And this is going to be a quiz grade as well. You have 2 quiz grades that can really help your grade right now. One is the integer quiz on the board game, and here's the second one. 1 integer picture is worth 70%, 2 integers is 80, 3 integers is 90, and 4 integers is 100. 4 integer pictures uploaded and graphed in Desmos. That would be 100% quiz grade to do 4 integers. All right, if I go back to the board, there's one thing that's left on this board to do. This is due next Monday. This board and everything on it, you have 1 week to work on it. When I click on the check mark and then, yay, you finished that point, it says to click on the arrow for 1 more. This is called a choice board. You have a choice of doing activity 1, 2, or 3. You only have to do one of them. They're different activities. So pick one and then it'll say finish right here tonight. I have to finish this part right here. It will say finish and you'll know that you're going to be done.